developmental processes, biological, cognitive, as well as social emotional, they are constantly influencing each other. Meaning to say, the cognitive process promotes the social emotional processes, and the biological processes influence the cognitive processes. So they are constantly working together. The biological process or the biological change is going to influence the cognitive change. The cognitive change is also going to influence a social emotional change. How much a person has grown is going to determine how he is going to be emotionally stable or how he is going to socialize. How much this person is going to be able to think is going to depend on the biological changes. Remember, we said the brain is going to develop rapidly between the time the child is born to the time the child is about 5. 5 years, the child has got 90% of a normal human brain. So during this time, the biological development is going to influence the cognitive part of it. How much has a child developed is going to help him think, the intelligence as well as the language. You don't expect a child who's born yesterday to speak. What is happening? That's a biological growth. The biological development is not good enough, has not grown enough for them to acquire a language, has not grown enough for them to have intelligence in them. So what are we saying? They depend, they interact as it is happening. So if the child has reached a place where they are grown enough, they are thinking enough, they will socialize with their friends. That's when now you're going to see a child who's playing with a friend. They will start sharing a toy. I play with it for some time, you can also play with it. What is happening? Emotionally, they are becoming stable. But you don't expect that when they are 1 or 2 years old. What is happening? Biologically, their mind is not yet there. So cognitively, they're not thinking like that. But eventually, they are going to grow to a point where stabilization in all areas is also going to happen. So if they are going to grow socially as well as emotionally, the growth that is going to happen in this area is also going to help the cognitive development. So if they start socializing, they will acquire more language. They will start stimulating the growth of the brain in different parts. What is happening? It is going now the opposite direction. Biological development influencing the cognitive development. Cognitive development influencing the social and emotional development. Social and emotional development is influencing the cognitive. At the same time, it is also influencing the biological development. Is that too hard to understand? I believe no. So the cognitive processes promote social, emotional processes, and the biological processes influence the cognitive processes. A child who is saying no to go to school, this one is going to lag behind its studies. What has suffered there? The cognitive development. Because it is depriving itself from socializing, it is depriving itself from exposing itself to things that are going to help its mental development, then it is not going to develop. But what has brought in that? The lack of the social development part of it. So we can agree to say these 3 parts, they work together in as far as development is concerned. Do we have a question? Is there a question so far? No? Are you looking forward to going home and eat? Is this your last class? Alright, so if you want me to let you go, we need to do this first before we go. But you're not